Everybody's doing okay. This is our second part of the lesson. So we covered fractions, and I just tried to cover fractions in a very general sense. This is a lesson 2.5 in our textbooks, talking about decimals and specifically adding and subtracting decimals. It's a really easy lesson. It's going to be done in like a minute. So let's go through it. Okay, adding and subtracting decimals. Adding and subtracting decimals involves the exact same processes that we use with whole numbers. So if you have a decimal that's like 2.3, think of it kind of like 23, okay? The only difference is that you just have to line up the decimals and points in the right place, okay? The rules are listed next, so let's go through it. You line up the decimals. That's rule number one. Step one, line up the decimals, okay? Step two, line up the decimal point for the answer to, okay? Doesn't help us if we don't have a decimal point in the answer because the answer's got to be involving a decimal. Step three, add the numbers as you would with whole numbers. Once you got that line up, man, things are good. Rules for subtracting. What do you think rule number one is? Line up the decimals. What do you think rule number two is? Again, line up the decimals for the answers. And number three, just do it the same way you would subtract whole numbers. That means borrowing, whatever you got to do to get those things subtracted, do it. Let's do, I think there's an example here. Okay, so line up the decimal points. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So you line up the decimal points. We got a 5.7 and a 21.6, and we can see that they're lined up perfectly, okay? That 7 is lined up right above that 6, okay? That's sharp. 7 plus 6. Who knows 7 plus 6? That's right. It is 13. Exactly. 3 goes down here. A 1 goes up. Let's do it. Okay, 3 goes down. 1 goes up. We carry over the 1. 5 plus 1 equals 6, plus that 1 that we carried over is 7. And then 2 plus nothing is 2. And that's